Isn't that just incredible? It's my great honor to introduce our guest speakers tonight. Our moderator, Jacqueline Coley, is the awards editor for Rotten Tomatoes. Wunmi Mosaku is a British-Nigerian actress who first gained attention for her work in TV dramas like Lovecraft Country and Small Axe. And God, if you didn't watch Lovecraft Country, please do, and her performance is incredible. And later films that include His House and Luther, the Fallen Son. Delroy Lindo is a veteran British-American actor with a career spanning decades in films such as Malcolm X, Crooklyn, Da 5 Bloods, as well as acclaimed TV shows, including The Good Fight. So without further ado, please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Jacqueline Coley, Wunmi Mosaku, and Delroy Lindo.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, thank you. Wow, thank you. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. Wow, thank you. Wow, thank you.
Thank you.
I feel weird standing. I'm like, that's for them. I'm just here. But it's sitting down looks awful too. Thank you for that lovely introduction. I did want to make a slight correction, though, because I'm the person that memorizes this stuff, and it just happened. But she was in Luther season 5.
Maybe.
The incredible Cynthia Erivo was in that other version. And then also not in Small Axe, although we do love Steve McQueen, and he's amazing. Rest of the filmography is amazing. Also, check out Still Alice. That's the one that I really love to shout her out if we want to go deep cuts, but she's really good in that. That axe scene, killed it. Thank you both for being here. It is a lovely evening because we are basking in the glow that you guys started in April, and it is still incredible. So thank you so much for this film. Mr. Delroy, sir, I am in awe of what you did in this performance. And I think Ryan said it best last night at the celebration of Black cinema, where you were all honored for the best ensemble, and Ryan was honored for Best Director. You were the embodiment of the blues in this film, something that was personified by his uncle that had passed. I'm curious, in those conversations that you all had about you embodying the blues, what elements did he sort of talk to you about in that? Like, what music did y'all talk to about? Because that is intangible, but it was completely what we saw.
Thank you so much. Thank you. He told me the story. Ryan, the director, told me the story of his uncle, but he did not. This is what he did in terms of assisting me in the process. He gave me 2 books. He sent me 2 books. Blues People by Amiri Baraka, who at the time he wrote the book was Leroy Jones. And he sent me a book called Deep Blues by a man named Robert Palmer. I read those books, and I referenced those books a lot. I read them cover to cover, and then I referred to them a lot. And what those books did was gave me a really comprehensive intro into, yes, a series of musicians, but also the lives, the lifestyles of these men and women. Then I listened to a lot of music. Son House, Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, Ike Turner. I submerged myself in that music all the time during the whole shooting period. Watched a lot of documentary, and I just immersed myself in that. Delta Blues specifically, because they're from that part of the country. So I just submerged myself in it, and I, rhythmically, and then just filtered it through the conduit of my own process. and that's what you guys just saw.
Say it again. One thing I really love about it is the performance is musical, even when you're not with an instrument. And I think that's like why the artistry sort of matches. But another aspect of this film, because I think people put the horror word on it, but it's a fable. And somebody that demystifies the mythology of it is what you do with Annie. She does such a great job of that. But I'd like you to talk a little bit about that, because I don't think people realize behind the brilliant performance that she's doing, her character is also giving a significant amount of exposition for the story, which is like so hard to do. I'd love for you to talk about how you were able to add pathos and emotionality to what's really like the meat and potatoes of some of the narrative parts of the story. That's hard.
It's so funny because it never felt like that. When I read it, it never felt like exposition. It's only like the feedback, people asking me, how did you make it not sound like exposition?
It's only when people like you say it.
I'm sorry. We watched the film 8 times in theaters and looked at every frame of what you did. Sue me.
Yeah, so it never felt like exposition. I felt like I was only playing the moment. Like, even when she's telling them about vampires, she's like, I remember Silver. You know, a stake to the heart. Like, she's remembering it in the moment, because it's not like she's not an expert, but she's the only one who has an inkling of wisdom, and listens and receives the stories and the wisdoms that she's been given, and she holds on to them, and so everything's kind of in there, but it's not. There's still like. She's still a student, you know. She's a forever student. So I think that's I really think it's in the writing, because it never felt like exposition to me, ever.
And it never felt like exposition being in the room with her and receiving the information. It felt that Annie was telling us about this impending threat. Interesting, because I agree, it never felt like exposition.
No, listen, and I agree. Like, I'm taking it to a level, y'all are just being natural, and that's why it feels so authentic. But I think y'all need to check with something that I clocked. This is again what you get. When you shift your hip in certain parts of the conversation, that is like her version of like, I need to put a little to it. So like when you're talking to Cornbread and you shift your hip, you don't even know you're doing it naturalistically, but it is literally something where when someone like me, I'm like, I hear the bold come out of the text when you do that, which is crazy. Clock it back when y'all watch it the second time.
I'll watch it again.
The Annie shift of the hip.
I love
She's
that.
about to say something. She's about to put something on you. Listen.
Wow.
But you know, that's such an incredible example of the small things that, you know, in this case, you as audience are catching, and it's really terrific. It's so deeply gratifying that audiences for this film are going back multiple times and catching small things like that, catching the various elements of the layers in this film, because it is so multi-layered, and it's wonderful that in the various viewings that those small things are being picked up.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you a small thing that hit me, like on viewing number 4, before when Smoke comes to Annie's shop, and there's a wide shot of the house as he's pulling up, and there's like, you know, the 2 girls are in the shop shopping. In the door frame, there's a silhouette of one of the girls crossing the door frame, and it looks like the girl is the same age as our deceased daughter. And it just hit me, and it looked like her ghost. It looked like her spirit. And I said to Ryan, and he was like, "Oh, he didn't. It wasn't like he was thinking of that. It was just he was thinking of the scene, the story, the shot." But it hit me, and I just started bawling. I was like, "Oh, there she is."
Oh, I mean, that brings me to my next point that I was going to talk about, which is again, being there last night, it's fresh in my brain listening to Ryan make his speech and talk about Zinzi. When you look at the two couples in this movie and you were actors on set, knowing Zinzi, as he said, was his boss on set, and he's directing the film, there's these two love stories. You have to feel the heartbeat of their love story in what you're doing. Like, you would have to be crazy not to. I'm curious how much he compared the two lovers, because they clearly love each other, but they approach their love in very different ways. How much did he tell you, like, this is different than the way Mary, or was it not that way at all? I'm just curious because there's a lot of conversations that are happening between the couples we see as the audience, but how singular did he keep the love stories, and how much did he tell you about them?
I feel like me and Michael concentrated obviously on just Smoke and Annie and our relationship and our history and our understanding of each other, our differences, and like how he says he doesn't believe me, but ultimately he trusts and knows that I'm right. And then me and Haley would speak about our different relationships with Michael, Smoke and Stack, but we would do that like separately. Just privately, not even in rehearsal really, because I think that was really important for our relationship on screen, because we're both their other halves. You know, there's no Stack without Smoke, there's no Smoke without Annie. And so, you know, Stack is reliant on Annie too, like in the end, you know, they want them to, you know, Annie coming over means that Smoke will come over. Yeah. That's what they think anyway. And then my relationship with Stack, that was really interesting because I didn't really work with Mike on that. It just felt like, first of all, it was all in that first scene, you know? This is one of Stack's ideas, like, you and your crazy, but everything, you could just hear everything she felt about him, but how important and integral he was to their survival. But me and Michael, when he was Smoke, we were like magnets. We just kind of moved around the scene, around the set, around each other, on and off camera. Like, I was kind of his shadow without realizing it. Especially when after Stack dies, it was just, he was here and I was here all day, every day. But when he was Stack, we were on opposite sides of the room. Like, we just barely interacted on those days. Not interacted, like it wasn't like method or anything. We just were like kind of repellent to each other. Yeah. And so it wasn't that we were talking about each other's relationships. It just, first of all, it was Michael and his clarity, his energetic clarity and distinction and deliberate character work. It just happened that way. Like, it wasn't forced. It was just, there's my Smoke and there's her Stack, you know?
No, it's very powerful because that was obviously so clear. That was the thing. Like, there's no way you can confuse. He was so distinctive with them. But yeah, that's. Thank you for taking us inside of that, Mr. Delroy, sir. You've been on. I don't want to go down your filmography and talk about all of the incredible directors that you've been with, but since he was being honored last night, let's just talk about your work with Spike Lee. Could fill a book in itself. But I'd be curious hearing about how Spike spoke about Ryan, how you've spoken about him, considering how many sets you've been on. What is something unique to his film sets that you had not seen?
Spike or
Oh, it was Mr. Coogler, sorry, Ryan, yeah. For this project where you got to see, again, working with a different filmmaker of the generation, but someone that shares a lot of what Spike did.
Right. Wow. It's a great question. And I'm not sure I will answer it. But I'm going to open my mouth and words will come out. and hopefully it will be.
It'll be good either way.
It'll be great. When I think about Ryan and his work, I think about incredible generosity of spirit. which is not to say that other directors have not been as, well, in my experience.
No, but it's so uniquely.
It's so uniquely Ryan. I would say, hey man, and he'd say anything, 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 and he meant it. Ask me anything. We can investigate anything, anything. So he is an open vessel. He's an open vessel. And again, not to compare with other directors, but in terms of my relationship with Ryan, he's like an open vessel that I could fill, that he could fill me and I could fill him. And it's profound because it's seemingly never ending. Hey man, Ryan, man, anything, and he comes and he's there and he's present, and there are actors in the room, right? Are there actors in the room? Yeah, okay, so y'all have been on film sets, you've been in work situations, and one does not have all day. You got to get it done. You got to get it done. But in the moments that need to be addressed, they are addressed. And they are addressed in tandem with everybody in the working environment. In terms of my area as an actor, he just was there for me, present. So again, I don't know if I answered your question.
No, I mean, you said that he's one of the most generous directors you've worked with. That's
Yeah.
a fair assessment. And I heard you co-signing and sort of amening to a lot of that.
Yeah, he would say I feel like he was always saying to me, "What you thinking? What you thinking?"
Yeah.
And it's just like that's what I think about when I think of Ryan on set. He's like, "Oh no, I just saw your brows just did something. You had a thought. Tell me, tell me. No. I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. No. Tell me." And there's no wrong answers. And it's like he wants to hear everything, every thought, every instinct.
And again, I'm thinking this now in the moment right now. And please understand, I'm going to try to explain. He left me alone, meaning he allowed for whatever my process is, he allowed it to be. Now, to be clear, I mean, as long as I'm serving the story, right? As long as I'm serving the narrative. But he when I needed him, he was present. Other than that, he left me alone. And in the leaving, in the leaving, and Spike is similar in that way. In the leaving, in the giving you your space to do your work, man, you know how much trust that engenders? He trusts me to bring to the process what needs to be brung. Yeah. What and that's a huge amount of trust. So.
But can I say something? You are Mr. Delroy Lindo. No, the trust, it's like leaving you to find explore all areas seems like a given because you are a living legend. But let me just say he does it for us all, and that's where I feel like he feels like he really empowers you. If you're Miles and it's your first time on a set, or if you're Mr. Delroy Lindo and everyone in between, like he really makes you feel like you're the head of your department. Yeah. And he's like, your voice, your thoughts, your opinion is crucial, and your freedom in this is crucial.
I love that. I wish as somebody that has observed the work, I would love to just be the little spyglass to see that, but it's so great of y'all to share. I think I want to take a peek inside of it this way with a couple of specific scenes. And there's so many scenes that we could do with Annie, but I specifically actually want to talk about the last scene where she says for Elijah to put that smoke away. I'm sorry, yeah, no. That's not a lot of dialogue probably, but there is oceans going on with y'all. I'd wonder if you could take me inside what that day was with Ryan, how he set up that scene between you and Michael, and just logistically how y'all filmed that, because that is, I don't even know how y'all are doing that coverage, really.
That was a really tough day. It was baking hot. And, you know, our priority and was to honor those children who never get held or who have lost their lives early, and parents who aren't able to hold their children. So that was a really hard day. We had some music playing like nonstop. We had Sade playing. That was mine and Michael's song. And it was hard because Michael was playing in two worlds, you know, in the real world and then in the spiritual realm. So we weren't really like connected. We were in our own worlds until we weren't. So it was, you know, we had these newborn babies on the set, like they were 2 weeks old. And it's just, I don't know, it was a really sacred day, and like that was our, like we would.
He said anything to you? What did he say? Like, did he give you any kind of like last minute thoughts to it, or did he just say, let's go?
Yeah, let's go.
Probably what it needed. Well, I appreciate what you did with it. It was such a powerful scene. And again, I don't know, you just have to be you to make that scene the way that it is.
I love the use of the word sacred, because that Sade song, I'm not sure if you're speaking about the same moment that I'm about to speak to, but when Mike has the stick you.
Same song, yeah.
Yes, it's the same song. Mm-hmm. And it was Sade, and it was really hypnotic. And I'm not directly in that scene, but it's the scene where we've all been fighting, you know, the vampires, but that when that Sade came on, and they were concentrating on Mike and Wunmi, but the playing of that song in a loop created this really hypnotic and all-engrossing and all-encompassing vibration on the set that was sacred. And he didn't, not that I saw, because I was on set. I was away from where they were, but I was on set. As far as I can recall, Ryan never came on set and made an announcement about anything. The music, he maybe talked to the actors, but the music was playing and the work was taking place. And all of us who were in that space could not help. All right, I'll speak for myself right now. Even though I was not directly in that scene, one could not help but be impacted, and it was sacred. It absolutely was. And that's an example of, is it generosity? Is it the way that Ryan works and the environment that he establishes for all of us to feel safe and enables us to do the work, right? And again, that may sound very kind of elementary because we're there to do the work, but I'm talking about the circumstances that he sets up so that we can all, that he establishes, so that we can all flourish and be the best that we can be.
Well, the best is stacking up awards everywhere. This lady just took home the Gotham Award for Best Supporting Actress. Spoke about the awards last night. We're in a museum, so as my last question before we get out of here, and I want to thank you all for sticking around, I feel like people that maybe don't know, but you should be looking at it, there's a lot of research that goes into making a story like this rich, and the tapestry is deep. So really quickly, I'd love for you, I know Ryan gave all your characters intense backstories. And if you go on Spotify, you will see newspaper clippings of events that are not a part of the film. Like this is very deep in the lore. What was one thing that you gleaned from either your personal research or through something that Ryan gave you that you found to be particularly profound for your character? Just like a little nugget that maybe didn't show up in dialogue on screen, but was something that you knew that informed what you put on screen. I'll give either one of you the chance.
That's a very big question.
I know. Anything, though. Any little inside Easter egg to Annie or to your character.
Okay, so while you're thinking, at a certain point, and again, I'm not sure I'm going to answer your question, but words will come out. At a certain point, the chain gang scene was in jeopardy of being cut from the film. In fact, the first time we saw it, it was not there. And as soon as it wasn't there, I was devastated, but I understood that the chain gang scene had to be there because it was part of my origin story and directly connected to my buddy Rice and directly connected to the self-medicating. I mean, directly connected. I mean, somebody came up to me in New York a couple months ago, and she said, "Oh God, you played the drunk in Sinners," and I want to say, "Is that all you saw?" Right. Well, damn. Yeah. The point about the self-medicating, it does have this whole history, and when I didn't see the chain gang scene, I knew it had to be there, and I knew it was inextricably connected to me and what I needed and how it was connected to not only how I express myself in the following scene, in the car, etc., but who I am very fundamentally, elementally. Mm-hmm. You know, when Preacher Boy says, "You know them?" I said, "I know all of them." Yeah. So.
No, that's a perfect one. Wunmi?
I just kind of back to this point about how generous and how empowering Ryan Coogler is. I've never been asked to see a first cut of a film, but he asked us all to go see his private screening of it. And at the end he said, "So what are your notes?"
Right. What do you think?
I was like, I'm not ready. I did not expect that. I've never been asked for my opinion like that from a director.
Especially not on a budget of y'all's skill. They don't do that on a $5 million movie, let alone a movie like this. Right. You know what I'm saying? So no,
I was like, let me take my time. Let me go back to the script. And that was my first note was the chain gang. Mm. It's like community. Like that's the community and the backstory and the, but that kind of detail, that kind of generosity. He has like such a he's got such a simplicity and such a complexity. So he does this background story of everyone we know. I know Elijah's full name. I know my daughter's full name, but it's not there. And then it's not there in the script, but he gives it us in background. And in the scene with Annie and Smoke, let me just tell you a cute, profound, cute. Like a moment when we stepped into the shop, me and Michael, and I had a dream the night before, and I had a message for Michael and Ryan, but I didn't trust myself yet because I didn't know this was Annie coming through. Anyway, but I held on to it until the last day. But that day, after my dream, one of the cards fell down from in the ceiling of Annie's shop. There's little playing cards hanging, and it fell down, and it landed on Michael, and he was like, "Wow, that's my lucky number." And I was like, "Wow." He's like, "We're meant to be right here, right now." But in that scene, like, Ryan said, so Annie says, "Why are you here? Smoke, what do you want with me?" And then I'm meant to repeat it again when he gives me that bullshit answer. And so I say it again. And he says, "Call him by his name." And I had forgotten his name. I went back to my text messages. I was like, "Oh, I forgot. I didn't write it down." So then I was like, "Elijah," you know. And those moments where he asks us to, like, and this is something that I think is really interesting. That sorry, are we out of time? We are. Okay.
I'm not gonna stop you. But 2 minutes.
Like in Yoruba culture, you give a name, your heavenly name, and you have an Ariki name, which is like a name that when someone calls you by that, your heart's meant to melt. Like, so my Ariki name, my grandma will call me. No one else calls me by my Ariki name. And I realized Elijah is his Ariki name, and he just melts. And so he can't help but be honest. He can't. The smoke and mirrors is gone. And again, like, the simplicity of, like, and the complexity in which Ryan writes. I said to him in that last scene, like, after that last scene, but, you know, because she's saying, "I don't want any smoke to get on her." And he's like, yeah, like the cigarette smoke. And I said, "Oh, no, I thought you meant, like, smoke, as in Elijah, I don't need you to leave smoke behind." And he went, "Oh, shit."
He didn't know he did that. That's the first thing I thought of.
He's so inspired. He didn't even know that he writes with such depth and such complexity and such simplicity. Like, he was like, "Oh," like I could feel it. "Wow, I'm good." I didn't even know I was that good. Like, you know. So I just love that. Like, that. Those are the little things that I just love about that whole.
That's a great place to end it. No, that was very well worth.
Really quickly.
Listen.
This will be super quick.
All right, if you got it super quick, because we letting people to go home.
Okay. When he turned.
Okay.
No.
Well, the people at Warner Brothers are going to shoot me because they have an early day tomorrow.
All right, just really quickly. When he turned, when after the screening, when he turned and he said, "What y'all think?" And when he said that to me, and I said, "Man, can we talk, man?" And we went outside and talked. But when he turned and said, "What y'all think?" That open channel, it was not rhetorical. It was an open channel that he expected and wanted us to fill. So.
And he gave you that opportunity. No, that's a great way to say that. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for being you.
Thank you.
I want to thank all of you for watching. And for those of you that can, you can vote for these lovely folks in all categories. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.